Welcome to the Soul Mirror. I'm your host, Shreya. When consciousness meets curiosity. Today we are joined by Andrew Tansil, founder of Salita Wellness Retreat, a visionary blending ancient plant medicine, modern comfort, and soulful intention. Together we'll explore what it means to find healing in luxury and why spirituality doesn't always have to mean struggle. So, welcome, Andrew. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about this.
And, Andrew, the phrase spiritual luxury feels both intriguing and paradoxical. How do you define it?
Yeah, for sure. I think with like any type of healing experience, you want to be taken care of because you're really opening up your soul, you're opening up your spirit, you're opening up your mind, your emotions. And so I think, doing this in a safe and a curated environment is something that's like a really natural mesh. And I think it makes the journey much easier and much smoother, if that makes sense. And so, obviously in a healing place, you want to have like a platform where you're going to feel supported and you're going to feel guided and you're going to feel the love. And I think things like hospitality and beauty and just understanding like a high touch experience are a really valid addition to like a healing journey, such as like when you go to a healing retreat or a spiritual retreat. I think those things really mesh really well.
Yes, that is so fascinating. And I think redefining spirituality as something so rich, nurturing, and real that it does. And also, do you think comfort can actually deepen the spiritual experience rather than distract from it?
Well, I think the more distractions you take away and the more focus you have on the inside is going to enhance your experience. And so if you look at like a luxury experience, basically everything's taken care of for you. You've got like a chef, you've got, private drivers, we've got security on site, we've got like practitioners that are well trained, and we've got a beautiful place to relax where you're not going to have to think about anything. And so really like a big part of luxury is the elimination of problems and elimination of worries, elimination of things that we would, consider distractions. And the opposite of that is sort of a journey where you're, potentially with like a bunch of people, potentially in a place where you need to take care of yourself, or you need to take care of like your living situation, or you might be in an uncomfortable situation. And, those things typically take away from a healing experience because they're external factors, and healing is a very internal experience. And so, the less distractions you have and the more problems you could take away from a healing experience, like the more profound of experience you're typically going to have.
Yes, I think that's such a refreshing take that like healing does not have to be always austere, it can be beautiful too. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
and plant medicine has gained a lot of attention lately. So how do you ensure these sacred traditions are honored and not just commercialized?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I personally come from a ceremonial experience as far as like my, initial therapeutic experiences that, gave me a ton of benefits, really helped me with my mental health personally. And so I really see the benefit and I see the honor in like maintaining the ceremonial element of the plant medicine experience. And so that's something that like in our company we've retained throughout the entire like all the years that we've been doing this. And so we always have a ceremonial container, and a ceremonial container basically means you have an intention and you have a process that you follow that really honors, what we consider the roots of plant medicine. And so, we combine that with the therapeutic and the clinical elements because we have like medically supervised experiences. We have like nurses and doctors on staff, and we have like psychologists and really trained clinicians to help like guide and integrate and support and prepare for these really profound experiences. But you can keep the container of the ceremony alive and intact, and like also just having people that are, culturally and shamanically trained to do these experiences. And so we have facilitators that like carry that seed and that understanding with them. And I think that adds a lot of benefit to the experience because you get the best of both worlds that way. You have the support and the trust and, the foundation of having clinical support with really the spirituality and the intention and, the mystery that comes with the ceremonial side, that people really find a lot of benefits in both sides of that, and kind of the merger of those two, you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Yes, that is so beautiful. And uh, have you seen guests experience a real shift in their relationship with nature after ceremony?
Yeah, for sure. We've had guests that end up just moving down here and, into the town or into the area that we're at right now, after going through this experience. And a retreat is something to kind of get away from your normal way of thinking, get away from your habits, get away from your environment, to really incubate and encapsulate like a new version of yourself, and to realize that. And I think nature is always going to be a part of that reunion, of that reconnection. And so like here we have like lush jungle surrounding us, and we have like, ocean front, and we've got, sunshine 300 days a year. And we've got excursions that take you into the environment, into the jungle, into the beaches, and into the water, to really immerse yourself in nature and really reconnect and have that element of nature back into yourself. And a lot of people leave the retreat, with an intention of like maintaining that connection after they go back home, by just like either creating, a lot of people commit to like coming back either quarterly or yearly. And then if people are doing, their own experiences at home. So like we've had guys that went back and did like a bunch of waterfall tours like in the area, and, just committed to like going outside and just getting connected with nature, like going on walks, like every single day, even if it was like 5 or 10 minutes. And so I think, the memory is kind of activated whenever you get back into nature. And when you realize the value and you realize the potential of that, I think you just naturally bring that back into your life. And it's something that like you really find when you go to a healing retreat like this, is that reconnection. And of course it's something that you want to maintain through your life. And so people find different ways of like integrating that as they go back home.
Yes, that's so powerful. And think when medicine reconnects us, not just with ourselves, but with the earth. And
Yeah, absolutely.
also, running a luxury retreat must mean walking a fine line between business and a sacred service. How do you balance profit and purpose?
Yeah, core values. Our core values are love, unity, and really maintaining that integrity within the team. And so, if you have values and you have like clear definitions of what those values are, then you're able to really like uh, instill that throughout everybody that works here. And then, with values, you have people that can change and align and grow with the company. And it's sort of like a magnetic effect. And so you attract the right people, not just with staff, but I think with clients ultimately, whenever you repeat that process of really instilling practices and instilling values into an organization, it naturally just keeps the integrity of the whole organization in a high place, in a spiritual place. And I think with anything like this, you're going to attract healers, and you're going to attract the right people over time. And we've been doing this for years. And so we really kind of figured out how to get the right people in the right seats, and following the right processes that are really going to help support and help people in that healing journey.
That's that's really insightful. I think it's show how purpose and business can harmonize when led by heart that you just explained right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And has that balance ever tested your personal values?
Well, I think it improves your values, because like you get to flush out, even aspects of yourself, like in this journey. It's like, how do you maintain integrity? How do you maintain like a loving business? Like, how do you maintain unity and respect within a team? How do you communicate effectively? Like, it's always making not just the employees better, but the leaders better, and everybody becomes better whenever they're instilling high values through their actions, through their work, and through like, really expressing their passion. And so, it's an honor, and it's a responsibility to continue to improve yourself in alignment with like whatever values are important to you, and to really clearly define that in an organization like this. And everybody that's here can just rip those values off and talk about how they imply those values with their actions and with their presence and how they understand this for themselves. And I think that's really unique about our organization. I think it's really important to recognize that like everybody kind of knows these things and instills these things with their behavior consistently, and that makes like everybody better, and it makes us work together better. And so, I don't know if it's challenging or confronting, but it's certainly joyful, and it's certainly inspiring, and it's certainly powerful to see everybody grow in alignment with something that everybody believes in and everybody understands the value of.
Yes, that is honestly really humanizes the spiritual entrepreneur, and we are all learning to integrate from that. And
Yeah.
also, what is one misconception people have about plant medicine retreats that you wish more would understand?
Well, um, just not to be afraid. Plant medicine is something that is new to me, like in the last couple of years of like having my own experiences and having, the experiences of helping hundreds of people go through this journey in this business. And that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned is that there's nothing to be afraid of in these journeys. It's really beneficial. It's really powerful. It can, change your life. Like for this is personally my journey, and like it changed my life in a week. In a matter of weeks, my entire perception changed. Like all the things that I was holding on to that I thought were so important, and sort of just, I got real with them, and I was able to like confront myself and realize that, that happiness and peace are something that I can have right now. And that letting go just gave me a whole lot of space inside myself to create a new life, and a life that made me genuinely happy. And so, I'm one case out of, thousands and maybe millions of people at this point that have like, seen the benefits of plant medicine for themselves. And I'm also a person that went through like traditional healthcare in the Midwest of America, and, spend like multiple six figures and literally 10 years of my life trying to get fixed, trying to like, figure out what needed to be rewired in my head, and not really finding an answer until I did a journey like this for myself. And I encourage people to, not wait till the end of the rope, essentially, to give themselves access to something like this. And also seeing this done in a therapeutic way, I think you should do this in a responsible way, and with the right practitioners and the right foundations and the right opportunities for integration. And all these things are really essential. But whenever you put all those essential, fundamental pieces together, you mitigate the risk where it's as safe as, a trip to Walmart. Cause like, it's something that you can predictably walk through a process. Like everyone that goes through something like this understands the value of getting the dosing right, the value of getting like scheduling right, and, everything that's set up as far as preparation, the right type of providers here, the right type of education. When you get all those things right, you really are going to have a high probability of success. And that's something that's a knowing, not just a confidence now. And so with that perception, I think it's something that, we can do really well, and it has like so much validity. And it's something that you can move forward into with a positive perception and excitement, because like this is something that like at least we've kind of figured out, and I think hopefully some other people have figured out. And so just to not have that fear and just have that faith, and have a system and a team that can support you. I think that's really important. And so shifting that mindset from fear to like really faith and understanding about like what this journey can look like with the right team and the right integration.
Yes, healing is timeless.
Yeah.
And do you think media portrayal has influenced that misunderstanding?
Media is always about excitement and not necessarily about, education 100%. It's about, grabbing a topic that might, cause a little bit more polarity and bias than, maybe just telling like a simple truth. But I think any publicity is good publicity whenever it's bringing attention to something that previously hasn't had a lot of attention on it. And so, all the therapeutic benefits of psilocybin, of even ayahuasca and ibogaine, I think are really important at just getting the conversation going. And the people that are curious about it are doing research and finding places like this and finding other places, to get treatment and get access to these types of healing modalities. And I think it's really important and really useful. And so I think overall media has helped a lot. I mean, it's how, things like plant medicine and psychedelics have become like more omnipresent in our society instead of just something that, people don't even know, what they are and what their uses are, that sort of thing. So the media has helped a tremendous amount. And I hope, the conversation continues to intensify and more attention comes to these wonderful pathways of healing for those that need it and those that would like to use it.
That's really interesting. I especially think the truth seems much more grounded and heart centered than what the hype suggests.
Yeah.
And yes, and when guests leave Salita Wellness Retreat, uh, what is the one feeling or realization you hope they carry home?
It's always about them. It's about what they want. And so, like we just had this veteran come down this week, and like he wanted like clarity in his life, and he wanted to move forward, and he wanted a deeper sense of peace. And he left here like he wanted a reboot. That was the exact word, like a reboot. And he left here happy. And I asked him the last time he was happy, and he said he couldn't remember. And so it's like um I want people to always find what they want and what they need. And at the root of that is always going to be happiness. It's more happiness, it's more peace, it's more joy in your life. And to have those positive feelings and have the motivation that comes from those positive feelings is something I want for everybody. And so I think that's huge. I think that's huge is, naturally feeling better about yourself, naturally feeling all the opportunities that are in your world and all the different ways that you can create your life. I think that refreshed perspective and and clarity is a huge gift, and I think everybody deserves to have it. And I think often we kind of get sluggish with our minds, with our creativity, and we kind of think life is more repetitive because we're living habitual. But if you open that door and look through another perspective, there's a lot more that's there. And so a lot of people find that leaving their treat, and I don't think anything makes me happier than obviously people finding happiness. And I think that's what brings me the most joy, and that's what I want for them, and that's what everybody wants beneath their desires is just to be happier and to have more presence and compatibility with the partners. We do couples retreats and just enjoyment in life altogether.
Yes, that's really interesting and really inspiring also. And how can they keep that connection alive when they return to their everyday lives?
Well, number one, we have we have integration programs that they work with our psychologists and they can work with our on-site team after the retreat. And so that's really important for a lot of people to just continue to reap the benefits of like what they realized here and like apply those things in their life after they head back home. I think that that work is really essential to the integration, which is basically implementation of the new ideas and the new expressions of yourself after you transform. And so I think that's probably the biggest piece. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I think that's the biggest piece. That's the most important piece.
Yes. And I think that continuity is everything. Integration is where the true transformation begins. And
Yeah.
thank you, Andrew, for sharing such grounded and soulful insights. And it has been truly inspiring to explore how healing, nature, and purpose can beautifully coexist. And it has been a gift having you with us today. And if after this my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
Yeah. Our website, Salita Wellness Retreat, or our same name on any socials.
Yes. And I will definitely make sure to attach all these details and links below so that the listeners can find them easily and get in touch with you. And to all my listeners, what an inspiring journey through nature, luxury, and spirit with Andrew Tansil. His vision reminds us that healing doesn't have to be harsh. It can be held, nurtured, and experienced in beauty. If this conversation starts something within you, maybe it's time to gift yourself the space to reconnect. Until next time, keep your soul open and your heart grounded and your journey sacred. Thank you.